Hello guys and welcome to my channel. So today we're gonna see some differences between VCDS and ODIS, the original software commonly used by dealerships to check fault codes or pre-flash control modules. So basically we'll have to plug in the cable into our OBD port. So as you can see here, the OBD port is under the steering wheel in my case. So we're just going to plug that in and we're going to start with VCDS. Just going to have to put the key in, turn it once, and open VCDS. So I have mine opened, so we're just going to check an auto scan function to see what fault codes we have. So we're just going to do that. It can go both ways, like it has an auto detect option, or you can just pre-select your car from this list below, but I think we're just gonna go with the auto detect option because it's easier, and we'll let the software do its thing. Just gonna press start, and we're gonna wait for the software to just go through all the modules and search for fault codes. We're just gonna wait for that, and we'll see afterwards what we found. Okay, so basically now the search is finished. All the control modules have been checked by VCDS, and now we're just seeing what fault codes we have. So one fault goes in the central convenience module, so it's a motor for the central locking. The trunk latch is not working properly, so we can just easily do an output test to see if it's actually working or it's intermittent, it's sometimes it's working or not. So we can just do a small test and see from VCDS directly if the latch is opening or not, and then we can go further on from there. So I'm just gonna search for the option to open the latch from VCDS, and there it is. So we're just gonna press that and press start, and you can hear, yes, you could hear the actual latch opening by just running this from VCDS. So it's probably an intermittent fault. It's not always happening, but yeah, we're gonna check that in the future and see what's the solution for that. The second fault is in the information electrics module. So here we have easy software management version update, which we're gonna do in a future video. We're just gonna close this. So basically, just a couple of faults here. We're just gonna have to clear these up and see if they'll appear in the future. If they'll appear, that it means that it's definitely something happening with that latch, and I'll just have to check some wires if everything's okay. But we're gonna search that in a future video. So if we don't want to use the auto scan function and we want to go directly on a control module, we can definitely select individually all the control modules that we want to check. So now I've just entered the engine control module, and here again you can do output tests of different sensors and pumps and whatever you need, actually basic settings for throttle body alignment, ignition non-sensor trip, short trip, kick down alignment. So there are a bunch of options you can simply select through this list, and it's of course the measuring blocks, fault codes. You definitely no fault codes here. The measuring blocks where you can see live data from the engine. Now the engine is stopped, so it's not working. So it's the engine speed is 0. You can see the manifold pressure, which is the atmospheric pressure now at the moment. Yeah, we can see that in a future video where I will show you the live data when the engine is turned on. Here I can select so many sensors that will show us temperatures, pressures, even the throttle valve angle, which is dictated by the accelerator pedal. So if I press the pedal now, you'll see that the actual value is changing. You can also do coding. So as I was explaining in another video of mine with the long coding helper, you can go through bit by bit and modify the options needed. It's a bunch of options that could be modified, and if you want to change them, it's possible and really easy to do with VCDS. So basically, these are the control modules that you can just go in and see fault codes and change everything you need. You can also have a service reset, service reminder interval reset, which can be done through VCDS. I know that most modern cars now have the option to do that directly from the car and not using a software, a dedicated software to do this. But I'm just going to show you how I usually do it in this car, where this is not possible, and you can only do it through dedicated software. And you can select an operation to fit your needs. So you can service reset through USA intervals, fixed time intervals, and these are some options to do your oil interval reset. So this was VCDS, and now we're gonna just go through ODIS and see the differences. Now, coming to ODIS, as you can see straight from the beginning, it gives you a bunch of information on how to use the software, general safety regulations and whatnot when disconnected, the pyrotechnic components, which you just have to go scroll down to continue. We're just gonna do just that. We're gonna click OK. Yeah, it pops up the login for if you want to do component protection changes. If you have changed like a climate control unit or the MP3 player or any kind of module on the car that will need component protection. So we're just gonna have to turn the key on as we did on VCDS. Now it's on, and we can see that the battery shows like 12.27 volts, which is okay. Here again, we have like different types of diagnosis. So we're just gonna click on self-diagnosis first, and I'm just gonna see how ODIS will show us the actual information from the car. This is gonna take a while, probably longer than VCDS, so we're just gonna click start self-diagnosis, and we're just gonna wait for it to go through the control modules. Yeah, of course we'll have to select the model of the car used for this analysis, and it will do the rest. So we already have the VIN number identified, and now it's going to just go through each control module as VCDS was doing earlier on. So we're just gonna wait for all the control modules to be checked, and we're gonna take it up from there. Okay, so now the wait is finished. I had to skip a bit because it was taking like really long. So again, we have the two modules which have faults. So we're just gonna check that here with ODIS and see what extra information we get from ODIS. So as you can see, we can do also basic settings, codings. We can check measured values, or we can adapt this. But we're going to do a fault memory and see what fault codes are stored. So again, the rear lid control lock has an open circuit or short to ground short circuit. So what we can do as well here in ODIS, we can diagnose what's happening in this module. So we can start different checks and see how different modules are working that are connected to the comfort system. So we can do multiple checks to see, sorry for the focusing, had some issues there. So we can do sequential selective checks. So we're just gonna start a sequential check. So these checks are going to just check everything in this central module. So we're just gonna have to take it step by step and see which one has a problem. So it will go just step by step through all of them, just by clicking next, next, next. So just gonna give us a rough idea of how and if things are working correctly in this control module. Now, in the diagnosis tab, we can select manually our car, model year, and manufacturer, and then it will go to a sequence of steps to sort every kind of issue that your car has. So this is like the main difference between VCDS now. In this particular diagnosis feature, we can sort the car's problems, and we'll go step by step, and ODIS will help you determine exactly what the issues are and will help you fix the actual issues. So again, here we're gonna have to wait for ODIS to just verify all the control modules, and it's gonna take a while. This time I'm just gonna let you just see how long it will take. And this is a block diagram of every module identified until now. So it will go through each and every kind of module. You see there are a lot of modules. So and a lot of functions for each and every one of them. So basically, yeah, we're just gonna wait for all of these modules to finish, and then ODIS will just automatically to make the test plan and the sequence and everything that you need to do to fix this car. If it has multiple issues, it will go through every kind of issue that the car has and will just help you fix it. So as soon as it finishes the control modules identification, it will go through the sequence. So it will start with the battery. So if you have to have a suitable charger connected in order to continue, because if the voltage drops below 12 volts, it will give an error message, and of course it could potentially disrupt any communications with between the modules or with the software, between the software and the other control modules or the ECU. So it makes all the steps and it checks. This is of course it dropped a bit under 12 volts, as you can see now. I do not have the charger connected because I'm not going to stay a long time with ODIS on, but whenever I do have bigger jobs and I have to stay and connected with my laptop, I do connect the charger because it's really important to have above 12 volts of at any moment when you do any type of analysis and check on the car. So of course this will go through a sequence of steps, and we're just gonna see what will happen next and what do we have to do next. So it will say that the following correctly installed control module was were not identified during diagnostic startup. So that exactly control comfort system. I'm gonna try to re-identify it, see if it will do something, but it will probably say yeah, it cannot. So we'll have to do some special functions to it to actually make it work. So it will just go through the following steps just to fix it. So it will say that batteries are okay, fuses are okay, earth connections. You can see the current flow diagrams. It will just go exactly through every kind of safety precautions to take if you want to sort this issue. So the test we have with the software management system, you'll just have to just see okay what the problem is, and then it will perform a test, or you can select your own test to just check it and see if, how you can sort this out. You can find different type of documents, and the guided fault finding here, it's just gonna tell you what to actually check, and of course the history, the campaigns and everything would be accessible with a username and password, which can be done. I mean, it's you can rent out if you have if you want to actually modify a bunch of stuff through your car, you can rent out the user and password, I don't know, for as little as $10 an hour or something like that. So it's easy to modify everything. So we have the component protection for all these control modules, and it can be done if you change everything from navigations to even ECUs and everything. You can flash reprogram. With ODIS you can do anything to your car. If you change, like I said, even your ECU can flash it and everything. But it's not as user friendly, let's say, in some particular ways as VCDS. But it's easier if you want to have like a test plan, and it will help you identify better some of the faults, and of course it will help you reprogram control modules if you need to. That's not quite possible with VCDS. Now the big question remains, is VCDS better than ODIS or vice versa? Well, it's not that quite a simple of an answer, so that's why I do have both softwares, which, day to day I use VCDS because it's really easy, user friendly. I can just go in and select a module, and that's it. With ODIS is a bit more time consuming, so whenever I have like a big job, yeah, I will use ODIS, but in day to day, just seeing fault codes and check different issues with cars, I use VCDS.